Hello everyone, I am going to take a few moments to go over the instructions for your final assignment, which is the special education video observation. So the instructions read, you will conduct approximately 3 hours of virtual video observations of classrooms, educational settings that include children with special needs. This is an important part of the instructions. The videos will be provided by your instructor and range from 10 minutes to about 1 hour in length. You will view each of these videos and compile your notes, checklist, analysis, and reflection. The assignment is worth 100 points and refer to the syllabus for the due date. So let's get started. I'm going to go over the instructions in detail. So this is what the document will look like. Okay, so the instructions here on the top are the same as what I just read. Okay, so there are a few different parts to the assignment. Part 1 are the video observation notes chart. This section is worth 40 points. So essentially it's 1 point per box. Okay, so as you watch the videos provided by your instructor, please take notes in the table below. So this is going to be uploaded in Canvas as a Word document, which means that you can type directly into it, just as you can see I'm doing here. So you'll be able to type directly into it. And also you'll notice here in the first column, you can click on the hyperlink to access the video. Now, if you notice in the actual assignment on Canvas, you'll see the links to the videos here as well. So these are the same videos, also labeled number 1, 2, 3, etc., that are linked in your assignment sheet as well. So, for example, if you click here on video 1, it will take you to the first video. And this is Small Wonders, Big Gains, the Preschool Autism Classroom. So it'll take you to that first video. So you are going to watch each video in their entirety, and the 10 videos total about 3 hours and 32 minutes approximately. So please watch all of the videos in their entirety. The first column, you are going to type in what is the approximate age group or grade of the children that you are observing. Most videos will indicate that, and if they don't explicitly state the age group, then you can just take your best guess. Second column, these are your lesson notes. You can do bullet points, you can do a little brief narrative. What were the students learning? Was it a lesson on shapes? Was it a lesson on the water cycle? Were they discussing characterization from a story that they had read? So what were the students learning? This next column is something that you also may not know explicitly from the video, but you might be able to discern that or take your best guess. What possible exceptionalities were indicated? So were any of the students in the classroom diagnosed with ADHD, perhaps autism, cerebral palsy, etc.? Now, all of these videos that were chosen because they indicate that they feature children with exceptionalities. So hopefully you'll be able to determine what exceptionalities, there may be more than one in the classroom, that were noted in some of the students who were in the video. So you're just going to jot down whatever you noticed in the video, whether they had autism, cerebral palsy, ADHD, etc. And again, take your best guess if you're not sure. And then finally, in this last column, this is also very important, what accommodations or modifications were used to help the children access the lesson. So if there were children who had sensory processing disorder, did they have some sort of squeeze ball, for example, to help them to get out some tension that they had, for example, or maybe they had a rubber band on the back of their on the bottom of their chair so that they can kick it so that they can get that sensory input. So what sort of accommodations or modifications were used? For example, my son, because he's not able to grip things by himself to write, he has He has special crayons that are very wide and angled a specific, they're angled so that he can grip them more easily. So think about what sorts of accommodations or modifications are used. If the children, for example, have visual impairments, do they have things in Braille? Do they have a lot of hands-on activities to help students with visual impairments to help them to access the lesson? So think about what the exceptionalities are and what sorts of accommodations or modifications are in place in the video to help the children access the lesson. So you're going to fill out this table. This is part 1 of your assignment, and it's worth 40 points once again. And then section 2. So for part 2 and part 3, what you're going to do is you're going to choose one of those 10 videos to complete the rest of your assignment. So because the video is very in length and you're going to need to go into detail for the rest of this part of the assignment, then what I would recommend is that you choose one of the more lengthy videos so that you can have enough material to complete the other components of the assignment. So I would say choose one of the videos that's at least 20 to 30 minutes to an hour. I wouldn't recommend choosing the 10-minute video because you just won't get enough material to complete these parts 2 and 3. So taking a look at part 2, the checklist, complete the following checklists for one of the videos that you observed. You will earn 10 points for completing the checklist. So just type here, video, whatever video you chose. Let's say you chose video number 5. And you'll just put it in the box, on the line. And then here, you're going to take a look at different components of the video. First, you're looking at the physical environment. In this classroom, you observe an appropriate amount of visual and auditory stimulation. Is that clearly evident, somewhat evident, or not observed? So these little check boxes, one thing that you can do, this is a Word document. If you click on it, let's see if I can do this correctly. Okay, so you see these different symbols here. And let's see if I can remember. So here's the checkbox, recently used symbol. Mark that, and then you see insert. Close. That didn't work. Okay, so let me find the checkbox. Okay, insert. So I found the checkbox, insert, and then close. So you can check it there. Of course, you don't have to do this. There's other ways to indicate it. If you want to go simpler, you can just gray it out. You can get the highlighter up here. You can highlight it. So there's lots of different ways that you can mark which box you want to select. So you're going to go through these different characteristics for physical environment. Continues on the next page. We have lots of different categories here. Identifiable space for personal belongings, placement of furniture and materials, color coding, labeling. Lots of different categories under environment, physical environment. And now we're going to look at the learning environment. Same 3 categories: clearly evident, somewhat evident, not observed. Curriculum, adapted or modified as needed. If you notice that it's in the video that you're observing, then you can say clearly evident. Maybe you kind of got a sense that maybe it was going to happen, but perhaps you didn't fully see it, but maybe you saw hints of it, then you can click somewhat evident. But if that was not part of what you observed, then you can click not observed, and that's totally fine too. Learning environment will continue down here on the next page. And then we're going to go down here to the teacher. Now we're going to be focusing on what the teacher is doing in the classroom. Does the teacher provide a supportive classroom environment? The same 3 categories: clearly evident, somewhat evident, not observed. Maintains high expectations for student achievement. Effectively manages the classroom by. And then there's all of these different subcategories that you need to also answer. And going down, now we're going to take a look at students. What are the students doing in the classroom? Do they demonstrate the ability to follow classroom routines? Are they actively involved in a variety of learning activities, etc.? Same 3 categories: clearly evident, somewhat evident, not observed. And that is part 2. The last part is your summary, analysis, and reflection. So you're going to use the same video that you selected for the checklist in part 2 above. So for my example, I said I was going to use video number 5. So then for my part 3, I must also use video number 5. You're going to write up and submit this report of your experience. So this should be in narrative form. The report should be a summary of the 10 topics and should meet the following requirements. So this kind of summarizes the point breakdown for all of the different components of the assignment. Make sure you answer each question fully, accurately, and thoughtfully, and you will earn up to 5 points per question. There are 10 questions, so that would bring you a total of 50 points maximum, plus the 10 points for the checklist, plus the 40 points for the video notes chart that was in part 1, and there you have your 100 points. So for this part, please use APA, type double space, Times New Roman, font, etc. Answer each in topic order, number them 1 through 10 so that I know which question you're answering, and make sure to answer all parts in full sentences and use paragraphs where appropriate. Okay, refer to the evaluation criteria posted with the assignment when preparing your observation report. It should be approximately 3 to 4 pages in length, and use examples from your video observation in your description. Try to relate information learned in class to your summary. Be reflective and use specific course-related terminology. So in part 1, this is the school information based on what you could ascertain in the video. So describe the school and the students. Does the school seem urban, suburban, rural? What about the cultural diversity of the students? Now I know that you may not be able to answer these questions fully depending on the video, but just do the best you can based on what you see in the classroom. Number 2, describe the classroom environment. For example, how are the desks arranged? Where is the teacher's desk, etc. Number 3, describe the pedagogy, methods of teaching used by the teacher. So for example, is a teacher doing small group instruction, hands-on activities? Are they doing music and movement, read aloud? What's the content or topic being explored? Describe the level of development of the students is number 4. Number 5, describe the learning strategies the teacher uses in the lesson. So a little bit more specific than number 3. So they're related, but number 5 is asking for 2 types of scaffolding techniques that you saw the teacher use to help the students master a task within their zone of proximal development. Number 6, provide examples of questioning techniques that the teacher uses. Number 7, how does the teacher motivate his or her students? Number 8, what are classroom management techniques that you observe? And then number 9 is super duper important. This is why it's highlighted, it's bolded, it's in italics, there's a asterisk here. This is where you need to describe how the teacher differentiated instruction to accommodate the exceptional students in the classroom. So I wrote here, be as detailed as possible. One of the goals of the assignment is to observe modifications, accommodations, and adaptations in a classroom setting. So this section is really vital to demonstrate your understanding of these concepts and the extent to which the teacher is able to address the needs of exceptional students. So what kind of special needs do students included in the classroom have? So you can refer back to your table in part 1 to refresh your memory, and then describe 2 teaching techniques that the teacher uses to help these exceptional students. And why they were effective. And then finally, this is where you get to reflect and share your own ideas. So what were your overall impressions of your video observations? Describe 1 technique or method that you observed that you would consider using in your future classroom and why you think it would be helpful. So in a nutshell, those are the examples. Those are the different components of the assignment. You will save it, you will put it back into Canvas, and you will upload it. Also, sorry, I have a lot of windows open. Also, there is one example that you can refer to. Now, keep in mind, this is an example that was based on a previous observation assignment that is not quite the same as what you have in this class. So if you click down here, here is an observation student sample, but just keep in mind it's slightly different from your instructions, but it will give you a general idea. So take a look at the example to give you an idea. It doesn't have, for example, part 1, the table. It does have the checklist, and it does have the 10 questions for the reflection. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what you need to do for assignment number 4. I look forward to reading your observation notes and insights, and thank you.